share my screen. So let's start from changing fraction to a percent. Okay. So I believe you all know how to do that, but let's do this together. So you are given fraction. To change that to percent, what do we do? Multiply that by 100 and put percent sign. That's it. Very simple. So how do we solve this one? That is the same as 60 over 100. That's exactly the same thing. 100 means 100 over 1. Isn't it? So now we have 100 in the numerator and in the denominator. So by dividing both by 100, we get 1 here and 1 here. What do we have in the numerator? 67 times 1, which is 67 over 1 times 1, 1. That is 67%. Simple, right? Okay. Let's do the rest of that. 11 over 20 and 15 over 16 by yourself. You can also use your number sense to check your answer. So by taking a look at 11 over 20, it's very close to half, right? It's very close to 10 over 20. So if your answer is very close to 50%, actually it has to be a little bit more than 50% because you see 11 is more than 10, right? 10 over 20 is a half, which is 50%. So your answer should be slightly more than 50%. Right? So use your number sense to check. And this one too, as you can see, is very close to one whole thing, slightly less than 1. So it's gonna be slightly less than 100%. Okay? If your answer is like 70%, I don't think that's correct. Okay? So always use your number sense to check. Okay, so 1120. What do you do to change that to percent? You multiply this by? You multiply this by? 100. 100. Percent there. So this is same as over 1 and 20 and 100 divided by 20. What do we have here? 5 and 1. So 11 times 5. Avery, what did you say? 55 over 1%, or that's 55%. So yes, it's a little bit more than 50%. So I think that's a good answer. Okay, how about this one? 15 times 16. We're going to do the same thing. Multiply that by 100% or over 1. So what can divide both by 16 and 100? Both are divided by 4. Okay, so divide 16 by 4. 4. 100 divided by 4. 25. Nothing else is divisible. What's 15 times 25? 375. Thank you. Over 4, which is 90. 36 and 15. 93.75%. That's the exact number. Okay, thank you. So yeah, it is very close to 100, but a little less than that. So yeah, I think that makes sense. Good? Okay, pretty good. So yeah, it's not really bad at all. How about if we are given a decimal? How can we change that to percent? Same thing, multiply by 100 and put percent sign. That's all. And actually, this is so much easier because we know some rules here. For example, if we are given like 0.5, if we multiply that by 100, let's take a look at this first. 0.5 times 1. What is times 1? That's itself, right? If we multiply that by 10, what happens? That is just 5. What did we do? We just moved the decimal point by one place with 1 0, right? So think about you have 0.5, 10 of them. So 50 cents, let's say 50 cents, 10 of them. So you have 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 50 cents. How much is that? 2 50 cents makes $1, right? $2, $3, $4, $5. That's $5. 0.5 times 10 makes 5. How did we get that? If you multiply that by 10, you can move the decimal points to the right by one place. What if we multiply that by 100? You're gonna move decimal point by two places. So you get 50. 0.5 times 1,000, 3 decimal points, right? 1, 2, 3, and 2 zeros. So you get 500. So you get to see the rule there, right? So times 100, you move this decimal point to the right by 2 places. So 1, 2, and you get 50 there, right? So using that, we get to find all of these answers so easy. 0.14 times 100, what do we get? 2 decimal points. So where does the decimal point go? After 4, right? So it's gonna be 14%. How about B? You tell me the answer. What is it? Excellent. How about this? 0.7625. Yeah, you just move 2 decimal points. So it's gonna be 76.25%. Very simple, right? Okay. Then we can, go backwards too. So if you are given a percent instead, can you find that number as a decimal point? Yeah, you can divide it by 100 and get rid of the percent sign. That's it, right? You just go backwards. So for example, if you are given these three numbers, 35% to a decimal number, can you do that? Yes, you can. You can divide this by 100 or move the decimal points backwards to the left by 2 places, right? So let's take a look at that together. I believe it's easy for you. So let's do the first one together and then you can do the rest of them by yourself. 35%, change that to decimal number. You need to get rid of the percent. And where is the decimal point? After 5. Because this is ones place, right? So instead of going to the right, making the big number, we need to make that smaller number. So go backwards by 2 places. So that's where you have the decimal point, 0.35, right? Okay, tell me about B. 69.8% in decimal number. What do I do? Move that to left by 2 places. So what do you get? 1. And get rid of the percent. How about C? Now you have fraction percent. Well, we can change this to decimal as well, right? What's half? 0.5. And you can do the same procedure. Here's the decimal point. Move that to the left by 2. You need placeholder here. So it's gonna be 0.005, right? So are we good? let's move on to how about this word problem. Okay, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, in 2014, the U.S. produced about 264 million pounds of cherries. Of these cherries, 182 million pounds were produced in Michigan. So out of 264 million, 182 millions were produced in Michigan, 36 millions were produced in Utah, 26 million pounds were produced in Washington, and 20 million pounds were produced in other states. Determine the percent of cherries produced in each of the following states. Okay, I will give you about a minute. Show me your thumb if you got it. Give me a few more seconds. Okay. So we need to find out the percent of cherries produced in Michigan, Utah, Washington, and other states. Okay? So how about we start from JC? JC, tell me how you found Michigan's percentage of cherry produce.
The kind I did is I just went to 500.
Times what times 100?
Well, 36. I mean, 182 Michigan.
180 million
Then,
times 100?
um,
So think about this. If we combine all of this cherry produce together, like Michigan is the most, right? It's about 100, no, more than half. More than half goes to Michigan. And Utah, I'm just making this up, okay? Utah, Washington, and other states. If we combine all of these together, how many percent will that be? 100%. So each of the percentage should be less than 100. Does it make sense? Right? So if you multiply this by 100, what could that be? It's gonna be 18,200 million. That doesn't make sense, right? So we need to think about the proportion there. You need to think about how much Michigan will produce out of the total. Okay? So Michigan produced 182 million out of how much? 264 million. So that is the ratio between Michigan and the total amount of the cherry. Does it make sense? Okay, now million over million, you can cancel it out. Okay, what's 182 over 264? Both are divisible by 2, so 91, 132. Any other? What? You can simplify these two as well. 50 and divided by 2 is what? 66. And again, both are divided by 2, so 33, 25. So we have 91 times 25 over 33. You can use your calculator to calculate that. Or you can just use your pencil and paper. What did you get here? Did anybody calculate that? You didn't? I will do that for you. 91 times 25 divided by 33. You get 68.9399393 percent, right? How do we round this? How do you want to round this? How about nearest hundredth? If we round that to nearest hundred, let's take a look at where the hundredth is. This is the 10. This is important because you get to round all the time. This is the 10th. Sorry, 10th. This is 100th, right? This is where you are rounding to. So you need to look at the next digit, whether it is larger or equal to 5 or less than 5. It is bigger than 5, so you need to round that up, right? So it's gonna be approximately 68.94%. Make sense? Okay, so Michigan produces about 68.94% of the cherry produce of the US. How about Utah? I need more spaces here. Okay, so Utah. How about Shane? You tell me how you can find Utah's.
That would do it pretty much the same way. It'd be 36 over 200.
36 million over
264
million. That's the fraction. So change that to percent. You need to multiply this by 100 and put percent there, right? So million and million can be canceled. What is that about? 36 over, let me find that out for you. So 36 divided by 264, you get 0.1363636 times 100%. What would you do here? Times 100. You need to move the decimal point to the right by 2. So it will go here and it's gonna be 13.636363 percent, right? If you are doing the same thing, you're gonna round this to nearest hundredth, okay? It's this place, and you look at the next number, which is bigger than 5. So you need to round that up, right? That's approximately 1%. There we go. Are we good? Okay, now, Kelsey, tell me about Washington's produce.
So they did the 26
Give me a
million.
second. Okay, Washington. Go ahead.
So you would take 26 million and you divide that by 264 million and then do the times 100.
And 2% at the end, right?
Yep. And
Okay.
then millions would cancel out. So then 26 divided by 264 is 0.098. Yeah.
Times 100, which is
9.848484.
9. Oh, what was it here after 8? 48484?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have 9.848484 right? Percent. So if we are rounding this to 100th, you need to look at the 10th and 100th. And look at the next digit, which is 8. Since it's bigger than 5, you need to round this up, right? It's gonna be 9.85%. It's an approximate number. Are we good with rounding? Okay. Now, what do we have? Other states. Thank you so much. That was pretty good. Other states. Kristen.
It's 20 million over 264 million.
264 million times 100%. So,
Million people.
take that out. That's 20 over 264. Anybody? What did you get? 20 divided by 264?
0.0757.
0.0757 is repeating? Okay. Times 100%. So we need to move the decimal point to the right, by 2. So it will go here 7.5755%. That is approximately what? There we go, 7.58%. Since we approximated, when you add all of these percentages together, it will be a little bit more or less than 100%. By 2, that's okay, because of the rounding. So anyways, when you add all of those together, it should be very, 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 very close to 100%. Okay, if your sum is not close enough to 100%, something went wrong. So always check that out. Okay. So how do you feel about the percent? Pretty easy? Okay, awesome. Okay, so let's look at more examples. Oh no, not really. So we're gonna move on to percent change. This is a little bit more tricky, but once you know the rule, it's not hard at all. So the percent change means the percent has been changing, whether it's increasing or decreasing. You want to find out how much has it changed. Okay, that's all. So to find the change, you need to look at the recent amount, the latest period amount. Subtract that. So subtract the previous amount. That's how much it has changed, right? So we know this, but look at the denominator. Divided by amount in previous period. Okay, so this part of numerator is the same as denominator. Remember, take a look. These two are the same number. Okay, and we are looking at percent change. So change, we just found the change. You can change that to percent. To do that, you can just multiply by 100%, right? That's it. Got that? Okay. So let's take a look at this example. In 2014, the Major League Baseball team with the most improved record for winning games was the Los Angeles. In 2013, the Angels won 78 games. In 2014, the Angels won 98 games. So from 2013 to 2014, did they increase or decrease? Increase, right? From 78 to 98. So we know that it's going to be positive number. So it's increased, right? Determine the percent increase in the number of games won by Angels from 2013 to 2014. So we can find this change, percent change. So percent change can be, you're gonna find the difference, right? By 100%. Okay, so what's the difference between 2014 and 2013? In 2014, the previous one, what was it? Most recent one is 98 games. And the previous one, 2013, 78. That's the change over what? 78. So again, these two numbers have to be the same. Okay, that's the key. Once you find it out, it's just, simple mathematics. So what's 98 minus 78? 20 over 78 times 100. Come on, somebody do the math for me. It's 2000 over 78%. What is that? Okay, so we have 2000 divided by 78. Okay. I got that is 25.6410 percent. So approximately, you see how I use the symbols? That's exactly the same thing. Because I put that there, but now I'm approximating it. So that's about what? 25.64%? Okay, that's good. That's the percent change. That's a pretty good number, isn't it? Okay. Let's see if I have more example there. Okay, here's one more example. On May 13, 2014, the price of one share of McDonald's stock was $103.53. On October 16, 2014, so it's after 5 months, the price of one share of McDonald's stock had fallen to 89.91. So you get to know it's a decrease, right? So you're gonna have a negative number there because it's decrease. So we can have that sense, okay? Use your number sense to do that, to check. And determine the percent change in the price of the share of McDonald's stock during this period. Okay, tell me how you solve this problem. How about Gavin?
So you're gonna start with 103.53 minus 89.
Hold on. So this is May 13, 2014, and from that to October 16, 2014. So which one do we need to start from? Most recent one. Which one is most recent one? May or October 2014? October, isn't it? It's later time. So that's more recent one. Has a bonus, so that is your most recent amount, isn't it? And what was the previous one? Previously, it was $103.53. So we know that it's fallen because it's a negative change. Make sense? Okay. What goes here in the denominator? Yeah, the same number here. So this number goes here as well. 103.53 times 100. That is percent change. Okay, and it has to be negative because the price got down. Okay, if we went up, it's gonna be positive. What do we get here? 89.91 minus 103.53. It's gonna be negative number. What did you get, guys? Shall we do the simple math here together? Minus 89.91. You can go backwards and just put negative as the answer, right? Okay, so let's do the subtraction here. 3 minus 1? 2. 5 minus 9, we can't. So we need to regroup that. Following 10 there. 15 minus 5? 6. 2 minus 9, we can't. I want to borrow, but there's nothing, so I'm going to change that to 9 and keep, regroup that as 10, 10. 10 ones, So 12 minus 9? 3. 9 minus 8? 1. It's 13.62 if you subtract the 89.91 from 103, but we go backwards, so it's gonna be negative 13.62, right? Over 103.53 times 100%. If you solve that, it's gonna be negative number, 13.62 divided by 103.53 is how do I change this to okay, 0.1315560 times 100%. So to change that to 100%, we can just move the decimal point to the right by 2 places. So we have negative 13.15560 right? Or you can approximate that as what? Negative 13.16%. You can write it as negative 13.16%, or in Word you can say, oh, that's 13.16% decrease. It's the same meaning. If you are saying decrease, that includes the negative meaning into it, right? So if you are using the word decrease, you don't have to put negative there. Because if you have a negative decrease, it becomes increase, right? Negative of negative becomes positive. Okay, so if you are using the word decrease, do not use a negative number there. You got that? Okay. Any comment? No? Percent markup and markdown is very, very similar to percent change. Okay? So, percent markup is this. Selling price minus dealer's cost, so how much you are paying for it, over how much you are paying for it. So you see, this denominator is the same as how much you are subtracting. So percent markup means how much you are making if you are selling that product. So think about the margin you are making when you are selling it. How much you are selling should be greater than how much you are, paying. How much it costs to make it, right? So this has to be bigger than 100, bigger than 0 to make some money. So if this whole thing becomes a negative, you're not making any money as a seller. Makes sense, right? Okay. So percent markup or markdown. If it is positive, it's markup. If it's negative, it's markdown. Right? Okay. Here's one example. 100 hardware stores pay $48.76 for glass fireplace screen. They regularly sell them for $79.88. At a sale, they sell them for $69.99. Determine the percent markup on the regular price. And then I want you to find the percent markup on the sale price. How about everybody solve this? And I will ask your help. I'm calling your name randomly. You got it? You're working on it? I'll give you about half of a minute. Avery, tell me what you did.
So I took 79.88.
Because that's the regular price, right?
Yep.
The regular price is 79.88. And you subtract that by
48.
exactly because that's how much it costs, right? To get the glass fireplace screen. Divided by
48.76.
excellent. And since it's a percent markup, we need to change that to percent. The percent, right? So what is that? What's the difference here?
31.12.
31.8
.12.
31.12 over 48.76 times 100%. And what did you get approximately?
0.6382.
So this part
Yep.
is 0.682?
6382.
6382.
Yep.
Okay. Dot, dot, dot?
Yep.
Okay, dot, dot, dot. That is approximately what? You need to move 2 decimal points, so you get 63.8. What was after 2? 2 again? Okay, so you need to drop that down, right? Okay, 82%. Everybody got the same answer? Okay, awesome. Can we move back to okay, Jason, call me out with this sale price.
So 79.88 minus.
Hold on. What's the sale price? 79.88 was the regular price, wasn't it?
Yeah, it should be 69.99.
Thank
So
you. 69.99.
then minus the 48.26.
Thank you. Over.
The 69. The 47.
Yes. You need to put the same number here, right? The same number. 48.76 times
100.
100%. Okay. So what do we get here? 69.99 minus 48.76. Anybody? 21.22. 23? 48.76 times 100. So what is this fraction? 21.23 over 48.76. It's about half. A little bit less than that.
0.435397.
0.4353 978 times 100%, right? Okay. Which is approximately, we move 2 decimal points, 43.54%. Thank you. So both are what? Markup or markdown? Markup, right? So if you have regular price, ooh, it's a lot of markup. 63.82 markup. Even if you have the sales price, it's still pretty good, I think, right? Okay, so to make some profits, you need to think about that. Let's see how much more we have. Okay, let's stop here, and when you come back, on Wednesday, we will meet over there in the computer lab for the test. So please study for the chapter 6 test. There will be place on Wednesday. Alright. One announcement that I have to make. I have a meeting at 1 p.m. So if you have to see me, please see me during the office hour from 2 to 1 p.m.